Hello, my name is Wesley Jack Taylor. You may hear of me through my YouTube account, WJ Taylor, the composer that writes all these works and loves to experiment with music. And if you go to IA, you know me as Wesley Jack Taylor, who is the only man in the velo section. Now, to get to brass tacks, instead of going straight to the good things, I'm going to talk about all the things that could use improvement. Over the course of the year, from me transferring to IA Central from IA West in the orchestra, the first thing I noticed is that the rhythm on some of the pieces was extremely off. And going back to recent times, the Carnival of the Animals, I noticed that the pianists were not in sync. Well, I'm not gonna be telling any names by the way, just for certain purposes, and I wouldn't want to get offended. But the what I noticed is that they were playing all the right notes. They just were not lining up. And then for the rhythm, for example, the Tchaikovsky, the Serenade for Strings in C major, what I noticed there is that when the part where the melody is split when the cellos, violas, violins one and two, we were not coming in at the right moment. And then for the Glinka, we were rushing like crazy. There was areas where it was just whoa. You would think you were playing with Charlie Daniels in a fiddle fest. And then for the intonation, I know it may sound like an adjudicator, but I was taught by one. For the intonation, especially in the Carnival of the Animals, where there are a lot of accidentals, what I noticed is that we were not playing the accidentals, and if we were playing in a major key, I noticed that there'd be some kids who'd be playing in a melodic minor, harmonic minor, a pentatonic, a Locrian. They play in one of those keys, and that's a problem. And that's one thing we need to fix. And I think the best way to remedy that is scale practice. And then for memorization, I'm gonna be touching base on this soon, very shortly. But I want to talk about here for a little bit. For the memorization, what we need to for the pieces, we should be memorizing certain sections. That is, sections that were extremely difficult, like from the Tchaikovsky, or the Carnival of the Animals, where we were playing the main theme, where the violins were reaching up high into seventh position, or when the viols are having those continual runs. What we should do is to prevent rushing and to prevent other obstacles. We should be memorizing difficult sections, and then when we come to one of those difficult sections, we look to the conductor. When we do that, we prevent a downfall of the whole entire concert. Then for the structural improvements for the orchestral class, scale practice is huge. Well, I noticed when we were for warm up, we were when we were playing scales. Well, I noticed when that one time we were playing the A flat major 3-octave scale, there are some people who were extremely out of tune, and I could especially hear it in the violin section. And even though the violas and the violins play the exact same notes, I could still hear it. There were some people that were way out of tune. And to fix the intonation, scale practice should be mandatory at all times. And then keeping a practice log. My private instructor, who has been having me do this for the past few years, and since I'll be going to college in music, he's really enforcing it. And the benefit of a practice log is that you write down things that are troubling you, like a certain measure, like fingerings, timing, interpretation. If you write all this down and you take it to your class or your private instructor, instead of doing the whole entire work fishing for problems, you can just focus on that one thing. That saves a whole lot amount of time. So then you can work on other things that are necessary. And then forgive me for saying this, but chair challenges. Chair challenges are huge in the real world orchestra. For example, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra or the Chicago Symphony. What the chair challenges do is they keep people on their feet. They let the people who work the hardest shine. And again, I'm not going to be mentioning any names, but there are some people who've been working harder than the principals or the concert masters or mistresses. I noticed that they were putting forth a lot more effort. They looked like they were more animated. They looked like they were really, really into the work. Whereas some of the principals, again, I'm not going to name names, but they just didn't look enthused. They didn't really look enthused at all. It's like they were just there, just to have the principal seat, be recognized, just get there for the easy A. And that's not what music is about. Music is about creating art. It's about trying to form the perfect end, the perfect beginning. And then for stage presence is huge. Like, for example, Halo, instead of